Empty awareness is distinct from awareness that is fixed on points of view. Awareness is always empty and always luminous. It's forever lucid, and it's never made into anything. It's never made into a point of view or a point from which to view. It's only due to having trained ourselves to focus on points of view that we get all wrapped up in what seems to be a world of descriptions. And when we get wrapped up in a world of descriptions, then we don't have freedom from points of view. We have an unbalanced view and lack of clarity. And our points of view, we could really describe as being of four kinds. One would be thoughts, another emotions, another sensations, and another other experiences. And so those could all be gathered together under the term experience, or they could all be gathered together under the term points of view. After diligently training ourselves to live from these different points of view, emotional, the points of view that involve thinking, the points of view that involve sensations and other experiences, it can seem that there isn't any other way to live. It seems like there isn't any other way to live at all. And we feel trapped and focused on what we're thinking, what our emotional states are, what our sensations are, and what our other experiences are. In other words, we're all wrapped up in that. So this is similar like a hawk soaring through space. All of a sudden it sees a little bit of prey down on the ground, a little rat or a gopher or something. And from the moment it sees that, it swoops in on that prey, and it's no longer just soaring effortlessly through space. It's put all this effort into going down and capturing the prey. And once it captures the prey, it gathers it in its beak or its claws, and it soars again into space, but its whole focus is just instinctively on keeping hold of this prey. And so you see, this is very similar to hawk-like awareness that focuses in on point of view. And then once it gets involved with point of view, that's all it can see. It's got its rodent and and that's all there is that's going on. Now, when it comes down to our own experience of awareness and the points of view appearing in awareness, the only way to conclusively, instinctively realize that awareness is empty is to gain confidence in that through short moments of awareness repeatedly until it is spontaneous at all times. This is really what we must commit ourselves to. And anyone can commit themselves to this. So if you feel like you can't commit yourself to that for one reason or another, and that there are points of view that are absolutely important to you that you need to hold on to, then you're just copping out. You're refusing yourself the kindness of holding yourself to account for yourself as you really are, which is forever empty awareness. And even though the points of view may seem very compelling and may seem like you really need to pay attention to them, and that unless you swoop in on them and start picking them apart, unless you do that, there's going to be some kind of calamitous doom. So the compulsion to swoop in on points of view is due to paralyzing fear that doom is going to come about if there isn't some kind of control taken by describing what's going on. However, relief never comes from that. It never comes from that. Whereas if we again and again return to empty, luminous awareness, then there is relief implicit in every moment. There's relief implicit in every instant of empty awareness, just allowing awareness to be as it is. And in this way, we come to the automatic conclusion that we don't need descriptions. We don't need these habitually trained patterns of description that we've been using to make decisions and to assess the world and ourselves. Instead, we find an intelligence in empty awareness that is far beyond all the scampering after different kinds of descriptions that we've been using to create order out of the world. Now, it becomes clear to us from the very beginning of short moments of awareness that this is really the case. Awareness really is an empty, luminous expanse of complete relief. And there isn't anything appearing in awareness. So the idea that there is something appearing in awareness, it's a compulsive, obsessive pattern. We've trained ourselves to believe that there is something appearing in awareness. And when we really, really, really believe that, then we'll go to the points of view again and again. We'll go to them again and again. We'll swoop down on them, and our entire focus will become involved with that. Just like the hawk, it swoops down on the rodent, and it may light in a tree and then just gaze intently at the prey for a while until it's in exactly the right spot to capture it, and then it swoops in and it gathers it into its beak, or a combination of beak and claws, and it subdues it. It gets it into a coma or kills it so it can then, without struggle, swoop up into the air and carry it off to be eaten. And if you've ever seen a bird of prey eat its prey, it pecks at it incessantly, clawing it and pecking at it, biting it away, one piece at a time. And so this is really an excellent simile, isn't it, for what happens when we really believe in points of view, when we firmly believe that we're going to find some kind of relief somehow in points of view. We swoop in and we say, oh yeah, there's something I can do here that's going to relieve my anxiety. It's going to relieve my sense of impending doom. And even though we've done this again and again, and it may seem that somehow we get temporary relief from impending doom and paralyzing fear, soon we're going to find ourselves right back in the same spot. So we don't want to reinvent this cycle over and over and over again of impending doom, paralyzing fear, a little bit of relief, impending doom, paralyzing fear, a little bit of relief, impending doom. We don't want to keep recreating this cycle. It's a cycle of violence to ourselves to keep reinventing this cycle. We have a little bit of relief from the point of view due to applying antidotes, and then we have a honeymoon period where we feel like, ooh, wow, everything's rosy. And then pretty soon the buildup of tension starts again. And then, boom, we explode and we're swooping in on our points of view and giving them meaning, giving them significance, creating a whole world out of them. And so the place to be is awareness. The place to be is empty awareness. This empty awareness is all that can convince us that that is really the source of our optimal intelligence. It's really the source of balanced view and clarity. And when we, like the hawk soaring through space with no focus on points of view, the hawk has a completely balanced view of everything. It can see everywhere in all directions, but once it swoops in on the prey, it only sees the prey. It doesn't see anything else. It doesn't have a balanced view. It has a focused view of just the prey and nothing else. And so this is very similar to our own process of swooping in on points of view. Now, we have different points of view that are incredibly compelling depending upon who we are and what our ingrained drift is to different points of view. But for most people, the intensely in negative states, whether they're thoughts, emotions, sensations, or other experiences, are the most difficult points of view to just let be. And why is that the case? Well, because in these very negative states, we've already determined that they are negative. So that's why they have such a powerful force. We've already determined that they are negative. We've described them as negative. So already we've given them a lot of power by saying that they are negative. And what comes along with that is that we must do something immediately to subdue them. We have to, if we've been training ourselves to avoid them or replace them with another state, to talk about them, or to engage in other antidotes, then we need to break that pattern by choosing to maintain awareness instead of getting into the point of view. When we maintain awareness, what we're going to see is that the point of view, the process of it doesn't change. It will appear, it will flower, and it will disappear. And this is unavoidable. But you see, we can't see definitively that all this occurs spontaneously in awareness unless we maintain awareness. If we get into the point of view, then we won't see that there's a spontaneous self-release of every here and now. We won't see that. And this is the reason that short moments of awareness repeatedly is key. This is what gives us the balanced view. And this balanced view is an intelligence that is beyond all points of view.